Ndewo Onyembo Igbo, welcome to my channel. For today, I'm going to be discussing the concept of Akaraka or Akaraka in Igbo ancestral perception. Now, gịnị bụ Akaraka? Before we begin to explain and you understand this concept of Akaraka, destiny, I'm going to explain these things from two perspectives or using two Igbo aphorisms or proverbs. The first one bụ Akaraka mmadụ na-edu ya. And the second one is ụwa bụ ahịa onye zụcha ọna. This means in our perspective is that the world is a marketplace where we learn to elevate our consciousness. The world is a marketplace where we learn and elevate our consciousness. Now, the symbolic meaning of this aphorism, this proverb or wabuahia, is that we perceive the world as a place where our consciousness comes to learn and experience, where it comes to buy experiences, where it comes and it experiences things that would enable its elevation, its spiritual elevation. And how does this happen? What are the pathway, how the essence or the consciousness comes to this realization or comes to this actualization? It is through the cosmic path that has been laid down by a person's chinezumezu. And this is where Akaraka comes in. Hence, this proverb, Akaraka mad na-edu ya. Gịnị bụ Akaraka? Akaraka bụ ugochi tụbalụ. This simply transcribes to our destinies are glorious gifts gotten from our chi. Now, this glory can be interpreted based on material success, based on achievement, based on wealth, based on power. And it can also be interpreted as the ultimate gift or glory the chi derives when the progeny has fulfilled its purpose and has been spiritually elevated. We also perceive Akaraka as the roadmap or pathway towards self and cosmic actualization of purpose. Hence, Akaraka becomes the reflection of the divine path or the divine plan or purpose acquired by one's chi, therefore setting the tone, standard, eventualities that would happen throughout the lifespan of the individual, unfolding at unspecified time. Now, this means that everything, the path that we are supposed to take as human beings has been predestined or pre-programmed by the chi. The chi has determined the path on which when you take those paths, you would get to this self and cosmic actualization. And when you get to that path, it would now lead to you being spiritually elevated, the elevation of the consciousness, which would now prevent you from reincarnating because there is no need again for you to come back. There is nothing to learn. You fulfilled all your path, your cosmic purpose, and there is nothing again that is left for you. So your consciousness becomes spiritually elevated. This is one way to interpret this concept of Akaraka. Now, what shapes a person's Akaraka? A person's Akaraka or Akaraka mmadụ can be shaped by one's action and one's choice, both in this present reincarnation and the past lives of an individual, through accumulated and positive or negative karma. Now, the events or what happened to you or actions that you took in your previous life would determine what would unfold, the path you're going to take in your next reincarnation. And all the karma that you have accumulated, whether it is positive or whether it is a bad karma, all of them would determine and shape the angle or the phase or where your Akaraka would take, the path your Akaraka is going to take, or the form it is going to present itself. All these things are part of the determinant of an individual's Akaraka. The next factor that determines an individual's Akaraka is a person's chi. I've said it earlier. Your chi pre-programs your life. It pre-programs your life, the direction your destiny is going to take. This is where they will tell you awo makwarage. This is your awo has an agreement with your chi, and your chi will now says, oh yeah, come. And when it is now manifesting, I say get awo makwarage. Then when you now think there is no way, it is not in your lineage, it is because this agreement was an agreement that has been, settled and sealed between your awo and your chi. So your chi is a huge factor in determining the direction that your life is going to take. It determines your akaraka. In our perception, the chi is perceived as the greatest aspect or the greatest determinant of your akaraka. And this is because we perceive the chi to be an aspect of the creator. The creator, Okike, gives your chi the free will, the choice to create you in its own reflection, its own image. How does your chi want the direction to take? What your consciousness, what is it coming to do? Your chi knows that. So your chi directs and fixes things in your path, eventualities, standards, things that are going to happen in your life. Your chi fixes them. So when at a specific time something is supposed to happen, that thing would happen. This is your chi nudging you towards the actualization of your akaraka. This is why the chi is one of the greatest determinants of a person's akaraka. Now, cosmic karmic balance. I've said it earlier. Our consciousness being able to learn or what you did not do in your previous life. That's why they'll tell you that maybe you went for divination and the dibia says you're going to be a dibia. It is something you're supposed to do in your previous reincarnation, but you did not do it. So in this current reincarnation, you are expected to do it. This is a cosmic balance. It is trying to balance up and make sure that it redirects you into that path you're supposed to take. And by redirecting you into that path you're supposed to take, it would channel you towards the actualization of your destiny, of your akalaka. It would enable you to get to that destination that you are supposed to get. Whether it is what you want to do physically or your cosmic self and cosmic actualization. These are the paths in your perception that you are supposed to take. Another determinant of akalaka is ndichie. Or I just called it cultural influence. Now here the principle of ihe sihona benne or sina benna takes full effect, because certain cultural values or attributes can influence your destination, your akaraka. That is to say that an individual's path may be influenced or could be influenced by actions and spiritual legacies of their ancestors. This is because when your chi wants to create you in a certain family, when you were about to reincarnate in a certain family, your chi would inform your ancestors, the ancestors of those lineage, those that instituted those lineage. The essence of your chi would try to seek some kind of a permission for it to reincarnate in this family. So if the chi is coming with a class of familiar spirits like Awu, and the Awu is targeted at being a dibia or is targeted at being a farmer, and predominantly that family does not have something like that in their lineage or in their line, they would object to the creation and the manifestation of that energy and that destiny akalaka in their family. So this means that the chi would now have to move to the next obi that are going to accept it and the baggage it's coming with. Cultural influence. Now, because that lineage, they don't have dibia, they don't want to be associated with it for whatever reason, it would prompt the essence that is coming to create an individual with that particular akaraka to skip and move on to a family where osiho na benne, osi na benna we na abia. So this is where it's called Ohamo or Ezumezu. Now this concept Ezumezu Ohamo, it means the totality of spiritual forces that function simultaneously with one's chi. These spiritual forces include Abu, Ndiotu, Alose, all those things. Now, collectively, they form your Ezumezu, which means that during your creation process, they had a say in putting you in the direction or path that they know that when you are focused or when you continue to live out your life following those stipulated principles, you are going to self and cosmically actualize. So this is why I said that spiritually or traditionally, these are the determinants, the major determinants of your destiny. Now we also have, things that we do personally as human beings to basically develop ourselves and read materials that are going to lift us up and make us sound smart and intelligent. There are other physical activities that also determine our Akaraka. But when we now look at it traditionally from this perspective, it means that your ability to read or learn something means that these are eventualities that has been stated and planned out that would enable you to grow. So when we read or when we brighten and we learn other things outside of what we know, these things has been predestined based on our perspective as Igbo. In our own cosmology, we're not just encouraged to learn something for, knowing its sake, but we're also encouraged to broaden our horizon. This is how we learn anything. Experiences, it enables you to learn and unlearn. Now, the uniqueness of the Igbo interpretation of Akaraka does not limit it to just comfortability or financial security. This is why I said that we can interpret Akaraka based on two angles. The first one being based on material achievements, physical achievements, and the second one becomes your glorious spiritual elevation, which is the destination. Ebe naga, ebe mmụọ naga. This is why when I see a lot of dibias in the village, they can be doing more and be making good money by people that come to them to work for them. But they have elevated themselves in ways that they know that they are no longer here to basically worry about the three-dimensional way of perceiving reality, which is basically money, shelter, and food. They have transcended themselves. They know what becomes important. And they channel their energy towards that which they perceive is more important. So our perception of Akaraka is not limited to comfortability or financial security. Rather, Akaraka becomes the pathway towards the destination that we are headed to. It becomes the appraisal of our life and how our life should be. It becomes the pathway towards the attainment of spiritual elevation and evolution, which we refer to, we just basically cram it up to Mad Ime Owaye. When we go to Igbo Afa will say, Onyo Wagi Emelo Owaye, your reincarnator did not live and fulfill his or her cosmic purpose. The person did not follow the destination, the path that he or she is supposed to take. So this is why in this reincarnation, things are not moving for you the way they should. And because of that, you're supposed to do that, this, that. That would basically realign you and reconcile you with that cosmic path, that destination, that pathway that you are supposed to be on. So this is why I said that our interpretation of Akaraka it's not limited to comfortability. It is basically appraisal of how our life should be and the pathway that we are supposed to be on towards the attainment of spiritual elevation. Now, every other thing that occurs during our journey, is expected to occur at a specified time and date. We don't know, but it is supposed to happen. That's why I used to have this chronic fear of death. But when I come to the realization that if it gets to my turn to die, there is nothing I can do about it. Although traditionally we use Etroaja as the way of manipulating nature. Things that are supposed to happen at this exact time would liars would would confront it and say, no, what about this, let it, why not. We kind of negotiate with these cosmic forces to basically have an extension of time. So let's say I'm supposed to die at 25 and I offer constant sacrifices in exchange for my life. Now, when I get to 25, they will say, okay, because of these sacrifices, why don't we extend this date? But aside from that, and the only reason why that date could be shifted or moved is because my chi has said they should move that date. But when my chi says no, this is it, she's supposed to die at 25, there is no amount of sacrifice, there is no amount of running from a Dibia's place to a Dibia's place that would salvage that thing from basically unfolding as at that particular time. Now, finally, can Akaraka be changed? We are Igbo people, so we should not be naive. We've heard stories, but can it be changed? Now, aside what Nollywood has filled up our head about our spirituality, the way you see Patience, or Miss Patience, Mommy Patience, and she goes to a Dibia's house and she swaps, a destiny, all this, how Nollywood gives these impressions. But aside those Nollywood interpretation, I can't say yes it happens or no it happens based on that. But I'm going to tell you what happens. And when we say that a person's Akaraka can be changed, what we are trying to say here is that a person's Akaraka can change based on the person's action and the decisions this individual makes. If they have social factors like religious indoctrinations, this is where they now come in. Because if we look at the Igbo trajectory, the Igbo history, we know that since after the church, the missionaries came into our region, constantly we've been shifting away from things that make us Igbo. We've been shifting perpetually, continuously. We've been shifting. We have been deviated. Now, most people that are supposed to do their imabu, that are supposed to do one or two traditional works, have now been deviated. So their path, their destiny has been changed based on these social factors vis-a-vis religious indoctrination. We have other things like social pressure or peer pressure that can also contribute to the deviation of a person's path. Now, social pressure could be a child that goes to school and instead of being in school could decide to be a cultist. It has deviated that child's path, except for some reason that child is able to realize what is happening and reconnect. Then the person has realigned him or herself to the path he or she is supposed to take. Now, finally, when we look at Akaraka, what I try to tell people is that we should not be naive to expect that our Akaraka would be solely capitalized and built on giving us the best and rosy kind of life. No. It has been designed to have sad events encapsulated within it. Because when sad or tragic events happen, it gives you a unique perspective. It changes the way you see things. If you're seeing things from a less empathic position, when it happens to you, it kind of makes you to be empathetic to other people's situations and sadness. So sad things happen because all those things are part of the pathways that are supposed to happen for you to be able to align and get and have a fresher and a broader perspective of what you should do. So there is basically a lesson for you to learn in every circumstances, because it would basically nudge you a step further into being self and cosmically elevated and aligned. or basically it is going to nudge you into being self and cosmically actualized. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. And until next time, yeah guys, yeah.